Just was. It's 6 o'clock. Woo-hoo! I'm going to call to order the Belleville Village Board of Trustees meeting for Monday, June 1st, 2026 at 6 o'clock. Yeah. What allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call, please.
Yes, Trustee Baumgart. Here. Trustee Cannon.
Here.
Trustee Eichelkraut. Here. Trustee Francois. Here. Trustee Knight. Here. Trustee Ziegler.
Here.
President Service.
Here.
Form.
All right, public comment. When the public comment period begins, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and participants may speak for up to 3 minutes on items on or off the agenda. All virtual attendees must have their full names displayed. When public comment is allowed, attendees on Microsoft Teams wishing to participate should click raise hand if on video. Attendees will be called on in the order in which hands are raised.
Yeah, Connie Erfurt is our first sheet.
Connie Erfurt. 24 East Church Street, Belleville. I'd like to know when our trees are getting put in, what kind of trees are going to be put in. I know you can answer that for me.
Are you asking about like the big planting or the one specifically in front of your house that we chopped
In
out?
front of my house, I'm worried about it.
You're worried about it?
Yes, I am.
Well, I haven't actually made a decision on what specific tree. I know we talked about it briefly. So if you want to give me input based on our acceptable list of like 40, 50 trees, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Just don't want old trees. I don't.
I got you. Connie.
And I just have a comment about the comment I made last time. Some of you don't know that it's happened to other people. And they have been put on a committee, and then all of a sudden, the next committee time they're on the committee, they're not on it anymore. And I fought tooth and nail to get on the Parks Committee because they didn't allow people, constituents, to be on it. You had to be a board member, and I finally got on. And I got on because there wasn't interest and there wasn't many people. And then all of a sudden I'm off of it. And I don't like how it went. I don't like that I wasn't talked to. I don't like that I wasn't brought up to be. And so that's my comment. And I think you should treat your village people much better than you do, because that really sucked. And I can tell you that, you put all that time in and this is important. The parks are very important to me. I worked really hard and I've loved the park down here. And so as a constituent, I was kicked off of one of the boards and wasn't asked, wasn't told, wasn't talked to, nothing. And I think that really is not a good way to run your village board. You need to be able to talk to people and let them know what's going on.
Thank you, Mary. It's been a while since I've been here. My name is Judy Bodchuck, and I live next door, but I have a business in town. I have two things I would like to bring up. Number one, is the Yards had an event here on Saturday morning from 9:30 to 11:30. A new business that's come to Belleville. We had a nice crowd, but I was really disappointed in the fact that there wasn't a village staff member or a board member who came to that event.
I saw Mary. I saw Mary there.
Karen was at the shop.
No, I came to both of them. She went over there. Not that it matters, sorry.
Well, I didn't see you, sorry, Mary.
Okay.
But getting back to the art festival. Catherine Howley asked me over a month ago to help with that event. She put me in charge of the display of the concept design of that project and what the playground is going to look like. And she had conceptual pictures of the playground. And we had vendors, every mule, and actually the young lady that resides at 911, James Way, was there, and she had a table with her baked goods. And I had a nice conversation with her. But I'm going to share with you some of the things I learned about all the young people that showed up. There were two demographics there. There were young parents, I would say ages 35 and younger, who has youngest child who's under the age of 10, and the grandparents, people my age, who have grandchildren because their children live in town or that are from here, and they came. We also had an e-bike a retailer that came off Williamson Street but lives in Oregon, and a number of other things going on. Catherine had somebody doing face painting, and there was a young lady who was making bubbles, gigantic bubbles, and the 18 months to 2-year-olds were running around Library Park trying to catch them because she was going faster than they could move. The people that I spoke to, the young parents, not all of them lived in the village proper. There were people that came from Exeter and people that came from Montrose. They were ecstatic that this project was being built.
You have 1 minute.
Her park is not the standard park. There's no sides and no swings. It's all made out of real wood called log. She's got a rolling log structure. She's got a climbing structure made out of logs. These people really love it. We had the EV guy. And I have a problem with EVs running up and down Main Street, kids going 40 miles an hour, and our streets are packed on a Sunday or Saturday afternoon because the IHOP has got an event going. They don't know etiquette. They cut people off. They cross the streets without looking. I was hoping there would be a police officer in town over the last 2 weekends, but I didn't see any. Calling Dane County, they would never get here on time. And I think it's time we change our ordinance to get those kids up. We do have bike on the streets, but we don't have anything on Main Street yet.
You got a final point you want to make?
The final point is they don't belong on Main Street going 40 miles an hour. Somebody's just going to get hurt, or they're going to kill themselves. That's my point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Roger.
Roger Odell, 186 County Road D, Belleville. Don't feel like this is Judge Judy. I'm the chairperson of the Town of Montrose. served 49 years to that position. And I also am the owner, my wife and family own Homeland Dairy, which is right out here on the edge of Belleville. It's been in the family since 1909, so it is a century farm. The farm is got a deed of perpetuality on it, which means that it will be a farm forever and ever. So whether it's a dairy farm, crop farm, sheep farm, chicken farm, whatever, it will remain, as long as that deed of perpetuality is on it, it will remain a farm. About 15, 20 years ago, Belleville here was pressed with the question of two pieces of property that were to come into the Belleville as annexation. One was over here to the west side, the Cullison property, Richard Cullison, and the other one was just north of me, the Jenner property. And at that time, Belleville could not accept both pieces of property. So they came to the town of Montrose and they said, can you help us decide which piece of property should be annexed into the village of Belleville if accepted? And I think, Gary, you were on the board at that time along with Terry Krinkle. And anyway, we made the point that you had Prairie Land Farms right across the street from the Jenner property. Prairie Land Farms has got roughly 3,000 head of cattle over there. They are a highly agricultural operation, and we press the fact that residential and livestock operations do not mix. And so we tried to promote if you were going to accept one of the two, to accept the Cullison property.
Yeah.
Number one was
1 minute left.
One, okay. 1 minute. It was close to the school system. It was next to major highways and stuff like that. So you people did accept that, and you did not accept the Jenner property. At the same time, we developed what was called a boundary agreement between the village of Belleville and the town of Montrose. And at that time, we said the town of Montrose would not oppose any annexation west of Belleville, but we would oppose annexation east of what at that time was the railroad track. And that was accepted. There was agreement drawn up. And according to Gabe, you do have the agreement, but according to him, it was never signed. I again emphasize the fact that if you do in the future consider annexation of the Don Fay property, before you do something like that, go up there on the edge of D and DD and look past Doug Mee's place up there and look this way, look to the west, southwest, and see what a pretty view you have up there. You know, Belleville was, years ago was considered a gem, and you want to keep it a gem. If you build houses all over the town of Montrose, or village of Belleville, your gem idea is going to be gone, and you will look no different than any other community around. I have all kinds of other things I would like to have said. Also, one other quick question, a comment I'd like to make to you. In Dane County, there are several drainage districts that run through Dane County. And one of them starts up there, which used to be the county Weaver Park up there, and it runs all the way down to Dayton. And it runs through the eastern 1/3 of the Don Fay property. Right now it's an open ditch. Some places it's an open ditch, some places it's actually tile. It was put in 1926. And it's still an active drainage district. And so sometimes there's flooding areas in that area, but that's something also to consider if you go ahead and actually annex this property in the future.
Right.
My request to you is not to annex it and keep it farmland.
Thank you.
And then Bonnie, did you want to go together or something? Okay.
Hello, I'm Larry Donahue, and I live or have land adjacent to the Donahue Fay Farm. And I'm opposed of you guys annexing it. One reason is, 2/3 of it floods. I have worked that land since early 1970, till last year. And, we did put it, there is a ditch we put through there, there's a culvert there, and just a couple of years ago, I had ice damming. I mean, I had David Nolan come down, and he was afraid to get close to it because the water was close to 2 feet deep. And it was out there quite a ways, but he did do it, I could just jump feet in the way there, and he dug out the ice, but otherwise he would have dug out that culvert, you know. So, I just let you know that, building houses on there, Mother Nature may reclaim it. You notice we had some big rain up there across Plains when we had 8 inches of rain, came down the Belleville, and it got all the way up to Donnie Fay's driveway. So, and you know the other side of Belleville here, had a lot of rain there too, or a lot of water. So, we're kind of in the valley here, so, you know, there are other places to go, you know. So, and what you guys do, of course, that's you guys may be gone or whatever. But there's a lot of things the government does and can't be held accountable. Like the DNR, all the geese. When I raised up, there was no geese around here, just ducks. And now you look at all the crap they do with the water. Of course, they blame the farmer for everything. Sure, we're not free of problems. You know, rainwater, things wash off. You know, contour the land. But a lot of things that, you know, just like along the bank. I used to pasture cattle along that bank. They kept it where it was grass. Now, when the grass is gone, it's just bare ground because of the trees, and now watch it rain. The dirt from the top just keeps on rolling into the river. So, there's the erosion problem caused by the government. So, things to look at.
1 minute left.
I'm done.
Okay. Thank you.
I am Bonnie Donahue. I guess I'm Bonnie Donahue. I really oppose you developing that. We have very few farmers left. Our farmers are leaving us very fast. I really, in my heart, feel if you develop that group of people are gonna be down there and they're gonna hate the smell. They're gonna hate all that, oh, they're fertilizing, they're spraying, they're gonna hate it. And they're gonna get together. And they're gonna put Roger out of business, they're gonna put Prairie Land out of business. And where are you guys gonna get your food? There's very few farmers left. I don't know if you guys read at all, but they're leaving very fast. And it doesn't help to have all these big developments coming in. That is my mistake. I just really think about it. Every last one of you here, think about it. The farmers are leaving. And what are you guys gonna do? That's all I have signed up for public comment at this time.
Okay, thank you. Consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member requests it, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered the first item after the approval of the consent agenda. We have several items tonight. The village board meeting minutes from May 18th, appointment of Andrew Evelyn to the Greene County Development Corporation Board, appointment of Ian Haas to the Joint Review Board, special event applications for Movies in the Park, the Sugar River Triathlon, and Happily Ever After Party.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Debbie, second by Shelley. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. The agenda, staff reports.
Nothing. No.
Nothing.
Couple things, it's a little early, but I'll go ahead and remind everybody the absentee ballots do go out at the end of this month, and so if you haven't
absentee on request on file, or if you want to fill out your absentee request, myvote.bellevilleWI.gov is a good place to go. We will be approving liquor licenses soon, just to be aware of that. And then just a reminder to the general public that any kind of comments or anything that wants to be directed to the board that we don't have time for in this meeting are always welcome to be sent to the clerk, and it's my statutory duty to send those comments to you guys. So we want to promote healthy discourse as staff to you guys and to the community. And so I'm more than happy to do that.
Getting on to old business. Consider the Park Meadows Development and Annexation Agreement.
Quite simply, this is the exact same agreement that you guys looked over in closed session last time. I don't believe there aren't any significant changes or typo changes, nothing. That's exactly the same.
The address. I just think it's worth a discussion again on what the process is gonna be for this project, right? Like you said, this is step one, is going to the developer, right? Him filling up the agreement.
Yeah.
We're a ways from annexation and several steps.
It all depends on how fast they want to move, because it's, you know, all of the property is owned by one person. There aren't any electors living in the area to be annexed. It's called an annexation by unanimous petition. And so the village would have to pass, I can't remember if it's an ordinance or a resolution to accept the property. And then they would need to file with the DOA, but since it is, you know, the owner of the property and there are no electors living there, it's generally just a 30-day review by the DOA and it's done. And the property would detach from the town and attach to the village.
Okay.
Can you clarify which property that is? Guys, we don't allow public comment at this time, please. So, sorry, but
I would take a refresh on that too, though, for the record. Like, I would like to know again where Park Meadows is, Ontario.
thank you.
I can't remember ever which ones they are. I believe Ontario is the one that would sit to the east of 60, north of town, east of 69, between the bike path and 69, correct? That's Ontario?
As hard as I pushed for it, they wouldn't name it
What?
across on the pig.
Sorry.
I said as hard as I tried, they wouldn't name it across on the pig, but yeah, it's across on the pig.
Yeah, okay. That is Ontario. Park Meadows is what we discussed in length about across from Rainy Road.
Across from Sherwood Park.
I know, but referring to it as Don Fay's does nothing for the new village, to the new members, right? People don't know where Don Fay's farm is. So, I mean, I think that's why it's important that we talk about the actual addresses and locations of these properties.
Yeah, no, it's right across from Enterprise, just for Park.
Okay. Thank you.
I would agree, but people don't know names always.
Right.
So. Okay.
I mean, again, this is the first step of many steps, so I will make a motion that we approve the Park Meadows Development and Annexation Agreement for the Park Meadows.
1 second.
I do have some concerns about the size of these two developments. There's a large number of units in there, units not comfortable with. The ability of the village to absorb that many new households with this amount of speed, providing services, things like that. And I'd also would like to get our building inspector situation sorted out before we move forward with any sort of agreements. So that's all I have to say.
I believe it says somewhere in this, though, when I was reading it, that this is by no way saying that we're approving any sort of.
No plans.
No plans, no plots, no how many units, we're not even to that point yet. This gives them the opportunity to come up with a plan.
Yeah, it starts out with an up to number based on the concept plots that they have developed, but it in no way, shape, or form guarantees any approvals.
So this could be pulled way back, just as it was a Badger. Right, depending on how the board, committees, it goes a committee, but this could be, it doesn't have to be this density.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever's big enough.
Right.
Right, and we've got engineer reports for water and sewer utilities. Correct. We can review. Are there any other concerns, specific staff?
No, it's just the numbers. It's too many people, too short terms.
I guess is it, what service are you worried about getting stressed so that we can address it?
Well, in particular, I mean, we're talking about, reducing police numbers. We're gonna be adding, up to 1,400 to 1,500 people,
Yeah,
that's gonna put a strain on all of our services, that many people in that short time period. And that's on top of that, your trips. So I think spacing things out a little more, controlling that pace a little better. And again, I think we need to get our building inspector situation sorted out.
Those are valid concerns, and the speed of the projects, right? I mean, I can see that, but I don't think I don't think it's gonna move, it doesn't have to move any faster than we want it to move.
Right. As far as the like, between Pageant Trails, the Park Meadows, and Ontario, I mean, if the contractor or developer went, as fast as they could, for as long as they could, to build that best case scenario for all of these, for them would be 10 years. I mean.
Not changes, 10 years for.
I think Pageant Trails by itself, just the way, what they're able to do, it's gonna take probably 4 to 5 years before that's completed. And if they start working on these projects as well, that, it'll take even longer for Pageant Trails to get done. But, yeah, so I mean, there's time. It's not that you got the agreements or any city property and there's 700 houses there. Like, it's gonna take a while.
It'll take a while for 1,500 people or more to move in. Go ahead.
My question or concern, maybe either or, however you want to look at it, with Roger and Larry and Bonnie, I am on the bandwagon with them. There is a drainage ditch through there. There is water problems. There's tiles through there. Who is responsible for that? What's going to happen with all that?
That gets handled with engineering plans and the plot reviews and all of that to make sure.
When they come in,
Do they even know that's there?
oh yeah. When they go to submit the plat and everything, they have to go through the Capital Area Regional Plan Commission, so that we extend our sewer service area. And during that, they are really comprehensive on everything they hit. So they'll likely be talking to, drainage, or be looking at the drainage district and all of those things. But then also, the developer has to submit a stormwater management plan. And that would also be part of that. So that would be part of the grading, the stormwater management, and the CARC submittals at the very least.
I'd like to address the agreement that the village had with the town of Montrose that Roger brought up. It exists. Have we looked at that?
Yeah, it did. It existed, but it was never sent to the DOA. We could not find a fully signed copy by both parties. And so the DOA doesn't recognize that it ever existed. Our attorney couldn't find it anywhere. It's never been recorded. And so it looks like there was something and then it just kind of petered.
So we dropped the ball.
I have no idea.
Montrose would have a copy too, you would think. You would assume that each party had a copy, had a copy.
So probably everybody.
So nobody has it, right?
So, okay, so there was a lot of discussion about the process and the procedure and the way things work. We have a motion to approve the agreement by Gary, seconded by Missy. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
4-3. Motion passes. Moving on to the next item. Consider the Ontario Estates Development and Annexation Agreement.
Once again, this is the same agreement that you reviewed in closed session last time, except for, yeah, this is Ontario Estates.
I'll make a motion to pass the Ontario States Agreement.
Second.
Motion by Melissa, second by Gary. Any discussion on this one? Specific, any other questions? See Debbie, Gary? Scott? Kelly?
Same.
Same concerns.
Same concerns? Okay, with that, we have a motion. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Was that? Two. Motion passes. Next item, consider the Park Meadows and Ontario Estates Parkland Bank Agreement.
Yes, once again, same as in closed session last time, the agreement on parkland agreements for these developments. So. Concerns was.
Ontario, they were adding more parkland there. As part of that.
Yeah, Ontario only has 2 acres. Which is a little light.
Weren't they White Oak Builders on the west side and now they're White Oak Ag Investments LLC?
Yeah, I mean, it's common to change different LLCs when you've got so many properties, so that's liability. Do the same thing with rentals too.
So are we in this agreement with that 2 acres in Ontario?
Yeah, it's exactly the same as.
It was before, but we're there. I mean, like, this is negotiable too on Park Space. I think 2 acres was what fits into our agreement for Parkland, right?
Well, that was what is in this agreement.
Yeah.
So this 2 acres along with the, what was it, like 19 or something and the 41 meadows.
Right.
Yeah, that would get us there for both developments.
Remind me again, how many homes are going into Ontario that they're proposing? It was like 305 or so.
So 300s.
Again, Plan Commission has not seen any of these documents yet, so. Right.
Well, then why are we looking at them?
Well, because you have to have this agreement in place before we do that, before they can come and, yeah.
Okay.
So with the other 2 passes, it doesn't do us any good to not, I mean, we have to move forward on this one too, to get it to, ahead of planning, to get it to planning for either further consideration at all. I'll make a motion to approve the Parkland dedication agreement.
Second. Any other questions or discussion about the Parkland Bank? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes 7-0. New business. Consider acceptance of Bell West Road infrastructure.
Okay. The next 2 items are essentially the same thing, except one is for Bell West First Edition Phase 4 and the other Baker Phase 2. These are certificates of substantial completion. saying that all the infrastructure has been laid in, and this has been, this is happening now because they just put the final lifts on the road out there. There was one issue that MSA noted with the final lift is that they desired that the asphalt level be 3/8 of an inch above the manhole covers. They did not make that height requirement. Now, this acceptance of this does not negate them from any responsibility for that. This allows the warranty period for their work to go into effect, which I believe is 18 months. The engineer did not foresee any problems with this. They're not below the manhole covers. They are above the manhole covers. They just didn't make the 3/8 inch level everywhere. But like I said, this does not release them of responsibility for that. But it does start officially their 18-month warranty, essentially.
So when they're warranting their work, and specifically with this problem, I'm gonna call it, because the road is, I'm gonna assume it's flush with the manhole cover, and pretty close probably, huh?
I've actually been out there. It's
The 1/4 inch. I mean.
it's above.
Okay, so, but anyway, 3/8 is what, you know, whatever construction guideline requirement is, probably due to the fact that asphalt compacts readily, and if it would compact too much, then you're taking the snowplow over and smashing the manhole cover and busting up whatever pipe is underneath, I assume.
Yes.
Correct? So does this build warranty from the builder cover repair of that in the event that, you know, it happens within this 18-month period?
Within the 18-month period, absolutely.
Which, you know, makes me concerned that 18 months really isn't that long. That's one winter from here. So, but.
Close to 2 winters, actually.
Why would we start our warranty before the work is done correctly?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we set a standard, they didn't meet the standard. I don't think we should accept it, don't meet the standard.
We're talking about redoing the road then? Is that what we're doing?
So you'd be talking about, I mean, if I understand correctly, you'd be talking about tearing out the last lift of the road and relaying it all.
But you can't just tell the last lift. I think.
Tear out the whole thing and
Wouldn't they just tear out around the manhole covers and build that up?
that would be that would be a single winter solution, because I've talked with Green County actually about doing that in some of our older roads where it's essentially a one winter solution that breaks away really, really fast.
Yeah.
So there's not a quick fix on it.
How do we hold them accountable then? For not satisfying the requirements again?
That's a very good question. Like I said, the first 18 months, it's easy. In the second, after that, I would tell you that definitely becomes a lawyerly question. I will tell you the other side of this as well. Belleville has not formally accepted completions of this type, this substantial completion documents. Belleville really hasn't done them, at least as far as I can tell. And this is something that we need to be doing. So whatever you decide to do here, I mean, that's your choice. But this does start that 18-month warranty period. Whereas I know we've had developments in the past where sidewalks have gone bad. And we haven't been able to pursue the developer on them because we never bothered to check it off and start this warranty period. So it's a double-edged sword. I mean, there's pluses and minuses both ways, and you kind of got to make that call, what you want to do.
So your argument is you can't hold them accountable, the developer, hold them accountable.
This is the developer.
Well, here's our chance to hold them accountable. I think we need to do it. Otherwise, we're left hanging holding the bag.
I mean, this is one of the things that questions my mind about the annexation is little things like this where a developer is required to do something, they just don't do it, and it just never kind of happens. Like, this happens a lot.
I would assume the you know, whoever develops a property contracts with someone to come in and put the road in, that's a subcontractor. And that subcontractor is given certain criteria to meet. And it would be the developer to hold that contractor to whatever criteria the developer gave the contractor. If you follow the chain of instructions. As long as our instructions were sent properly, and laid out, which I believe they are in the ordinance. So, I think.
Could we look for something, a solution rather than ripping out that road? And I would say either a longer term on the warranty or some sort of financial reimbursement, something, so we can.
We could certainly go back and speak with the developers on this. I mean, you're talking about a high value, high dollar item, whatever we're talking about. So I assume I assume this would go either down the direction, in a legal direction, I expect. But I completely understand if y'all want to stick to your guns on this. Like, I totally get that. I just can't guarantee what the outcome's going to be because I'm sure it will be a conflict. So.
I will say MSA did not seem, Kevin was here and spoke to it and did not seem overly concerned. He really, I think it would be different if we were below the manhole or like he really didn't seem like he was that big a deal being off that little bit, but he was aware that they had done it without him being on site. I don't foresee that happening again, but I think we need to reiterate that it can't happen again.
I asked a dumb question, because I just don't know the answer. Who issued this final certificate of substantial completion if the work wasn't completed correctly?
Well, it's from the developer. They submit it to us. It's up to us to investigate and go into it, which is really what this is the end of. MSA went in and looked over everything. Part of the problem that happened was they informed MSA that they were going to be doing the prep work at the end of 1 week, and then they would be laying the final lift on Monday. They ended up completing it all the end of that week. And so MSA they weren't made aware that the final lift was going in on like that Friday, I believe, which they should have been. That's where that happened. But this would be us signing it or not. The developer, they submit this to us, and we would be the ones to accept it or not.
Can't they just grind part of it down and redo around it like they'd grind other asphalt and do stuff?
Patching is like that won't work for longer than a season.
It's not a great long-term solution. It will break down.
And make them redo it. But that would be.
It's gonna go to legal. It's gonna go to legal.
I'm not telling you, you can't by any means. I'm not telling you that at all. I'm just saying.
They're not gonna just agree to redo it. It's gonna go to legal. We need to figure out how much we're willing to spend on legal.
We wouldn't be responsible for those, say we object to this, we wouldn't financially be responsible for them to regrade the road and do it the correct way. The developer would, or the subcontractor, but then that'd be a change order. You guys screwed up, fix it.
We're talking about this much concrete as opposed to that much concrete.
You're talking,
They're not gonna go over.
you're talking about an 1/8 inch.
Yes.
But.
But why is the standard?
For nothing.
It said it doesn't matter.
So we should just be.
That's a Kevin question.
Well, I think at this rate, do you want legal involved? Because we're gonna go down a long legal battle with the guy that has that's fine, he'll put our lawyers on it. I feel like in this case, we have to find a way to say, it can't happen again, it can't happen again. We're way aware of it now. But I don't think,
If you let it slide, I guarantee it'll happen.
Yeah, that's my fear too. We got a buyer that wants, they don't want to spend the money for a lawyer.
Keep them an inch here, half an inch someplace else.
And if the work was done after the engineer was here, it says that it was inspected by the engineer, but the engineer then wouldn't be able to have seen the completed product.
Right.
And they weren't there when it was, so They weren't there when they were actually putting the second lift on. They said they were gonna contact them to come out. They didn't contact them to come out, so the engineer wasn't there to actually inspect while they were,
So they're not
compacting it.
upholding what they're saying that they did then. If they're saying they had the engineer inspect it at the end, the engineer's never been there to inspect it.
Well, they were there after.
But were they supposed to notify the engineer that they were going to do it, and they did not? I mean, it seems like.
Got it done a day earlier.
Yeah, they did notify the engineer that the contractor just got the work done faster than they said they were going to do it, so.
So what happens if we don't sign it?
Our lawyer, we get our lawyers.
That's a very big question, and I mean, I can't honestly give you a definitive answer as to what's going to happen. All I can, if you choose to draw your line in the sand here, if you do, I can simply tell you it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a big deal. Whether you want that fight over the 1/8 inch or not is up to you. This is your decision. But
Have we talked to Kevin though? Do we know that
about the, like,
the
sort of concern, level of concern?
Yeah.
Yes, we went over this in public before. It's not concern.
So how do we prevent something like this happening again? Because we know it will, because it is. There's no accountability for this developer.
There you go. Thank you.
There is none, and that needs to change. Because things like this, oh, whoops, I forgot to call MSA, and the work's already done, so here's your certificate.
You knew you were running ahead of schedule.
I agree. I would say a documented paper trail with basically, consequences essentially.
Do you have any other subdivisions that
He's testing the water.
do not have the proper, any of the new subdivision built in the last 8 years have the same problem? I know we haven't given certificates, so, I don't know if anyone's gone out and inspected the overlays on other roads.
Not that I've been made aware of. I know that there's one manhole that my plow drivers look out for on the west side. I know that there's one, so that might be it.
Okay.
But I haven't been, as far as the infrastructure goes, I think everyone's heard the complaints about individual homes. I think let's not sit here and pretend we haven't. But as far as the infrastructure goes, no, I have not.
I'm just curious as, I guess we have an unknown whether or not they met code or were short, just like this one is. And out of the numerous manholes that are dotting the roads out on the west side, we have one that's somewhat of an issue, it sounds like. So, I guess what that's telling me is that the risk of this being a problem, just like our engineer is telling us, is probably pretty low. We need to, though, at the same time, keep our developers in line with our ordinances. And, I'm inclined to, give a little here, because I also kind of understand construction and you kind of do the work when you can and you have the people there. This wasn't ideal in that manner either with communication. Certainly it wouldn't be allowed to happen again. And I'm undecided right now if we would ask for like a 24-month warranty.
I think we get further with something like that, spending a warranty on it, than looking at trying to tell them to take out a road, because that is not, it is gonna be fought tooth and nail. And we're in a good place right now. Financially, like, we've talked about that, financially, we're in a pretty good place. A lot of things can change. I don't think it needs to be tied up in legal or something like this. That Kevin, when I say Kevin, I mean Kevin Lord with MSA, who is our engineer, did not seem, I voiced these concerns at our public works meeting, He did not seem concerned about it. And he made it sound like in 18 months, we would know. Those plow drivers will know if they hit a manhole cover. Or hit a manhole, they're gonna know.
I just found my email string through the two pieces of information. So is Ryan Patton at MSA, who reached back out to Jeff Lincoln Held at Arc Design, who's the engineer for the developer, said just want to reach out to MSA, was not notified the surface paving that was completed week of May 11th. After inspection of the paving was completed, it was realized that the paving thickness at curb lines and manholes was flush in many areas per city of Belleville standard specifications. The requirement is to have finished asphalt for 3/8 of an inch above the manhole and a 1/4 inch above the curb line. The specification is to address post-paving compaction that happens with all asphalt to prevent plow blades damaging the casting and curb line. At this time, there are no casting or curb lines exposed. In the event of issues arising, the city reserves the right to require a resolution to issue issues that arise due to light thickness. And then Jeff responded back, thanks Ryan, noted, we did inform the tentative plan when we were alerted, or when we alerted you about the milling, but between Joe and me, neither of us solidified the actual paving date with you. I have high confidence in Rock Road's work and don't expect any issues in the quality of their. That's the email string. So Rock Road's the one that put down the pavement. And it looks like nothing is exposed, and our MSA called it out.
I will say the resolutions also allude to this, that it doesn't relieve them of any duty to deal with problems that arise from bad work, essentially.
Would it be unreasonable to ask for a 24-month warranty?
Personally, I don't think so. And nor is it unreasonable to essentially put a warno in writing that says, yes, we'll sign off on this, but any future, failures to meet obligations or notifications of work being done may not be met so kindly. There's nothing wrong with maintaining hard standards, and I think there's nothing wrong with sort of tightening our grip on these things.
Well, but if you threaten hard standards and keep backing down, they understand we're going to keep backing down.
So on that 24-month amendment agenda, whatever we want to call it, would it specify in there that if we have an issue with that within 24 months, they are responsible for replacement repairs?
Because the developer agreement has that in there. No, it's got 18 months.
Got 18 months to 24.
Yeah. Well, the developer agreement also specifies that they have to meet the standards as far as asphalt depth. They didn't do that. There's no reason to assume they do the other.
I had an in-depth conversation with the developer about it, but I mean, he was made aware of it at the same time I was made aware of it. And they didn't seem combative about it at all. So I mean, I don't know if there'd be any issue with it.
With another 6 months on it, or what, with no issue with what, do you mean?
No, I don't think he'd have any issue with, making it right. I didn't get that from, I mean, he doesn't live locally. And so he has subs like Rock Road, which does the majority of the road work in Wisconsin, do it. So, I mean, if Rock Road, their crew made a mistake, the crew made a mistake, or our design made a mistake, it's fine. It's, it is what it is. I didn't get the feeling he wasn't even trying to fix it, wanted it fixed. I don't think he had a problem with agreeing to a little longer either.
We should at least explore some sort of fix or compensation. So there needs to be some sort of.
From that email you read to it, didn't sound like it was just the manhole covers, but it also the meeting the curbs.
Well, the curbs and the manhole covers are the same requirement. So, and that's just to make sure that when the plow comes through, hasn't been back to the point where the plows are going to kick up the concrete.
But it's not just one spot where the manhole cover is, it's literally the whole street.
Well, yeah, the edges of everything. It was flush with So it's not flush with the manhole covers. Like, I can tell you, that I just drove out there this afternoon. I couldn't tell you exactly where it is in there, but it's not flush with the, cover. It is.
My concern is though, if it's flush now, in 3 years, heavy traffic, heavy plows, what was once flush will no longer be flush. That's why they require that extra quarter inch.
Yeah, I'm not arguing.
So, I mean, I understand that Kevin wasn't overly concerned with it. I'm thinking long-term. This guy's gonna be long gone and we're left with shitty roads, in a nutshell.
It makes you feel any better. Give it 20 years and they'll be shitty on their own. Like,
It's,
My thing is why,
let's think about concrete.
yeah.
There's concrete that hasn't, concrete that's gonna crack and concrete that's cracked.
My whole concern is, again, holding the developer and his subcontractors accountable for meeting the standards.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't get
That's when it
the,
came in.
I don't get the idea that that's gonna be a competitive situation. I mean, if you swing the pendulum all the way over and be like, you need to re-mill and relay the roads, then yeah, they'll probably get ugly. But I think there's a sweet spot in there.
Okay.
So is this the same for both of these?
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, we're spinning our wheels here, but why don't we, if table these for whatever for tonight and have that conversation with the developers and, tell them what our concerns are and tell them we really we want them to fix it, and otherwise, this is not gonna get done, and see what it is again.
Right.
This is gonna be a costly legal battle if we get to that point, so, and we get threatened to be sued all the time, but,
Par for the course.
yeah.
I would need a motion to table if that's where we're going, just.
That was,
I think that would be the direction I'd want to go also, is ask about 24-month warranty and basically stipulate there will be no acceptance again of something under spec.
do you want a motion for each item?
Yes, please.
So I'll make a motion on this item. We table to the next meeting
And that staff,
talk to the developer regarding the concerns expressed at tonight's meeting.
Second.
Who was down there that said it?
Debbie.
Debbie did. All right, Debbie gets it. A second. All right. Motion by Gary, second by Debbie to table until the next meeting with staff to address the concerns that we had. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes.
I'll make the same motion for the Baker's Wood. One off.
All right. Next item
Sorry.
is the Baker's Woods Road infrastructure. Same discussion as we just had. Motion by Gary, second by Scott to table and staff to address our concerns with the development. Just making sure you're ready over there. So you're writing it. I'll go faster then. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
I use my second then.
Okay, next item of business, consider approval of the 2026 bond schedule.
Mary, you're up.
You want me to talk now?
You were Teresa, never.
You guys want to take the podium, please?
No.
You do it anyway?
I want to go home tonight. Sorry, didn't mean that. Was there any questions on the bond schedule that we submitted?
I do have one correction. On the ATV, UTV, I believe it's on page 8. Here it's
I don't know what that's.
chapter 18.
Do you know what page?
She's an age, she's.
Chapter 18, vehicles and traffic.
Don't you have this memorized, Mary?
No, I don't. That's a good thing. Good try.
So which ones? So it is, chapter 18.
Page 13.
Page 13, yes.
Okay.
For the all-terrain vehicles, off-road motor vehicle operations, 18.101, subsection 5, whatever. That should be 20 miles per hour, not 25.
Okay. You can fix that.
And then I was made aware of possible duplications for 8.14(1) and 8.17 sub 1. Those are actually two separate, let's get to that one.
No items put into trees?
Yeah, so one talks about putting it on public property, and the other one talks about putting it on, the right of way. So 8.14 is, it's unlawful, that's under the public property tree and vegetation regulations, and talks about putting trees in. And then 8.17 sub 1 is under the permit required for public right of way or terrace. And then 13.0194 is a certificate of compliance in an occupied dwelling. I think that's what it is.
Occupancy without certificate of compliance.
Right, and that is under the administration. And then 13.054 sub 3 is the certificate of compliance and is a zoning permit. And 13.054 sub 4 is conditional use permit in the wetlands. So that's why they're different. And if I need to change the language in the bond schedule, I can.
I mean, those just confused me with, the exact same wording. Specifically, I'm looking at the one 13.019 sub 4 under wetlands. And there's 13.0544 is there also.
The exact same.
Just the same wording, and I don't know what that means, just looking at it.
It's different.
So.
I guess then you'd have to go into the actual statutes to figure out what, or the ordinances rather, to figure out what the exact meanings of those statutes are. This is more of a reference to the officers to be able to quickly look through, figure out what the violation is and what the ordinance-based fine is. Plus cost.
So those poor guys got a big list to go through.
Yeah, so they would, in the citation, they would list 13.019 sub 4, 1309.
Yeah.
Or 13.054 sub 4, whatever, so.
Yeah.
Which is what you would adjudicate it on then, so.
Right.
And as Judge Dean pointed out, the numbers in the bond schedule are the base forfeitures. So then the court costs are added. Last page shows the chart where you would add up to the total amount that would be shown on the citation.
I feel like paying away for
Yeah.
I learned something new from this.
So you always have to take it across.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay.
And I tried really, Judge Dean tried really hard to alleviate any of the not to exceed 500. We had many in the previous bond schedule that had that notation, and she reviewed the entire book and made sure that we took out all of those. So there is a base bond forfeiture for all of the ordinance violations.
If I would have put, if it was the other way, that gives confusion to the officers because they don't know what to write. This is clear cut for them. They can look up and go, oh, $20.
Oh, $500.
So I'm guessing there'll be a quiz after all your guys read this, right?
Yeah.
So,
We're gonna call a special village board meeting so you can,
quiz them?
great.
We can get some dice and like
On that.
Roll a number.
Will there be extra food?
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Any other questions?
I have one, for parking regulations. What was it, for basically the winter parking, is that up from 20?
It should be 40. Is it?
Before you trust board,
Okay.
because it was listed in the schedule as 20, but it should be 40.
Did I-
We might have missed one, because there's a lot of parking.
Well, no, it's just, the calendar parking refers to 40, but we have it under the current that is 20. And I just didn't know the increase, so.
Yeah, part of it is so that when it doubles, it can be sent to state debt collection right away. We don't have to worry about, because we have to have a $50 minimum in order to send any debts to the state debt collection. And that includes the parking. So when we double it, from the 20 to the 40, we haven't met it. Even when we add our $5 triple late fee, we still haven't made the $50 minimum. So we can't send any of those to state debt collection. It will help get it there.
And they're surprised when they get that phone call in their letter that they owe $120 in parking, because they thought.
So that was kind of my question. So I'm trying my damnedest to not have to come in front of you, because I know you'll throw the book at me. But so like I'm looking at the last page, the selected deposit amounts. So jail and crime lab on a parking ticket. I'm just in a general question. So does that not apply to everything, or it does regardless? Even for a parking ticket, there could be jail and crime lab costs added in?
So on the, I think it's on the second page, there is an asterisk that indicates forfeiture only, no penalties assessed on this ordinance violation.
All right.
And for all other citations, the court cost, et cetera, whatever.
Okay.
So if it has an asterisk next to the base fine and forfeiture, it does not have the court cost, i.e. any of the parking does not include that.
Right.
Now, if they contest it and come to court, that's a different story.
Okay.
But on a base parking ticket, it is not added the court cost.
Okay.
So just for the boards, we are trying to move from taking parking tickets out from underneath the municipal court and putting them solely on the police department, from the standpoint of through track, so we won't have to have parking ticket books produced anymore. The program that we use for ordinance citations and traffic citations can also produce parking citations. And that way, if somebody does default and not pay that parking citation, we can take that parking citation from tracks and automatically submit it to DOT to suspend the registration of the owner until which time they pay that parking ticket. So that's why I'm just kind of questioning, unless it were to be contested and the only reason it would go up to the municipal court is if there was no resolution that could be brought between the person or the, owner of the vehicle and the police department on that citation. So then what would happen is if no agreement could be made, then we would issue a traffic citation for the $20 plus the cost that you see on the back page, which would get it over the limit if they had to go to state debt collection from that standpoint. If my understanding is correct.
The judge is proposing that all parking tickets be $40.
Yeah, and I'm afraid that that's going to, because especially calendar parking, which is our highest parking ticket, we receive so many complaints and we receive so much backlash from citizens in regards to our enforcement of calendar parking, that if we increase it to 40, that it's going to exponentially increase what I have to deal with in citizen complaints from enforcing the calendar parking. So I would like for the board to consider keeping it at 20.
And which one is that?
That's the calendar parking.
Yeah.
1803.
If anyone complains, just blame the judge.
Well, and that's his plan, to do that. But
That's what I do.
you can go in this Dane County and state of Wisconsin and get a $20 parking ticket in your
Page 11.
And get out of the snow zone. We're trying to plow. Move your car.
Why are we thinking if there's no snow falling? To me, that
Well,
makes no sense.
I mean, we've had, trust me, we've had that discussion for years, you know, we changed this ordinance a couple times that, you know, it had to be declared. And I think we've always come back to this one because it's the simplest you park on the outside or the even side of the road and you still give warnings, right, the first month or so, whatever,
They put out a public posting as well.
yeah, I mean,
It's a revenue builder.
well, I mean, and it's simple, it's pretty straightforward. It's not like we declare an emergency and then you need to do it because then people would complain that, well, I didn't hear there was an emergency declared. So this is about as simple as you can get for a winter parking, ordinance, I think, you know, so.
And the time frame is much shorter than a lot of
And
others.
it used to be, yeah.
It's December
In addition-
1st to March 15th.
15.
Is it the 15?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in addition, there are properties within the village that don't have driveways or garages. So it's just on-street parking for those folks. So,
Up until 5 years ago, that was me. I didn't have a driveway or a garage.
And on that note, you can still get a $30 parking ticket in New Glarus.
They'll raise if they gotta pay for that new library over there, so.
Okay, so
On page 5, under animals, dogs and cats confined, there is no number.
Oh, I apologize. Oh, that's cute.
I guess it's free.
No, that's cute. Kidding.
Animals, number 2. Dogs and cats confined.
What's that?
There is no.
10.08. Here's license required animals. Here we go. Rabies, dogs and cats.
Oh, that was the, okay. I don't think we, oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. I think that's
So
a.
which one is that number, Kelly?
On
on
page
page
5,
Yeah.
It doesn't have
there's no cost for it.
Oh, no,
It's like-
cost.
it's on-
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah. I
So,
thought you meant no ordinance numbers.
no, there's no fines.
Yeah.
It would be this.
Well, I guess they're confined, they're not running around, are they?
So it'd be 300. It's the same as a quarantine.
and you also have the same issue, low dollar amount on several of the items in section 19.
Yeah, firearms.
Page 17. 6 that don't have dollar amounts.
What is this?
It's probably just, when we send it back through, it probably just like that. 17. Did I screw it up? 18.
yeah,
Oh,
so.
yeah, oh, loitering. I apologize, I just missed those. So interfere with, some of them are new and I didn't. Well, this is the old.
Right, that's the old book.
Yeah, it says sit, lie, or recline on coach park
Yeah.
vehicle without the owner consenting.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's
it's probably
a
started.
new one.
That's getting pretty picky.
So what is the old ordinance? No, what's the new ordinance? You said 19?
19025 sub 2 sub C.
There's no fines squatting right now either.
Sweet. What's
There's a $50 fine for gambling, lottery, fraudulent devices and practices prohibited. So if I give you $50, I can run 3 count money.
We gotta scroll down the table.
Oh, yeah.
Like to buy operations at a community picnic, come this year because next year you can't do it.
They go up to the chief, because he actually put a amount of his house, and we have $50 base on those. So from 19.025 subsection 2C,
all the way down to 19.025 sub 4 sub B. The other age one, that stands at 250, the one above it.
So all of us supposed to be 50.
Yeah, but that's base. Any more errors? Because I was cross-eyed doing this, by the way. And she had to put it in. I didn't have the dirty deed. And I got messed.
I didn't see anything else.
I'm gonna be really picky, 19044, there's no dollar sign in front of the dollar line, so.
Oh, man. 19044. Which one? Oh. Wow.
I contemplated leaving the dollar sign off, and then I thought, oh, I better, because otherwise they're gonna ask, well, what is that?
Someone's gonna bring it up. That sounds like a great place to start.
Yeah. How much would that be if or what denomination are we using? That's right. Pounds?
Euros.
Euros.
Any other errors that you guys can see? So do you want to revise, if they accept this, do you want to revise, are you comfortable sending this document to tracks to get loaded?
Basically, it'd have to be, like we did previously, this would have to be put in resolution form so that the board could take a vote on the resolution and then it'd be signed by the village president after unanimous vote.
So what we can do is, if you guys want to approve it or approve it with whatever, we can create that resolution, put it on the consent agenda for next meeting, since you've already basically, if you so vote. Then we do this off to the planning commission.
Why does it have to go to the planning commission?
I don't know, I'm just saying, we do that as an example.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Doesn't have to go to planning commission, I'm just saying that, like, if you
That's
want,
what
if they
happens.
want to pass this, like, motion to approve tonight, then we can write the resolution, put the resolution on the consent agenda for the 15th, and have that resolution.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the 2026 bond schedule as corrected, revised tonight.
Second.
Did we want to change calendar parking per chief? If I'm correct, you were asking for that to be $20? Or?
Yeah, I mean, but based on the conversation of the board, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, folks, you're fine with the $40. I was just bringing up a different perspective, you know, since this is that, especially that topic, is contested when we get to that time of year.
I mean, that's been a bone of contention for years with people. I mean, if we weren't giving out warnings for 2, 3, 4 weeks in advance, then,
Yeah, so that's why I was purely bringing it up from that standpoint.
So I know there's but so the winter park, so that goes in effect, so, and you're not the first chief I've asked this question of, but so the next day then, you go back and check vehicles that haven't been moved, and then they get another ticket for that next day if they haven't moved their vehicle? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you can, I mean, it's obvious where somebody's been, that's not, more when you plow around a vehicle.
Yeah.
So the next day, that should be on the other side of the road, the next night, and it's still not, they get another ticket.
So the day that it got plowed around, they were in violation.
Okay.
The following day, if it's still there, now they're legal. And then, 3 days, okay, all right, yeah, then we would hang another part.
Hang another ticket, okay.
Unless it's the 31st, and then it goes to the 1st. Oh, boy. I had that issue.
I can imagine.
Okay, so
It's not even that.
Let me put it this way, folks, I even had to be educated, because I'm like, the way we enter it into our report management system, if somebody lives at 123 East Main Street, that's what they write on the parking ticket. Instead of the 100 block of East Main Street, they put 123 because people have contested. Well, I was parked on the right side of the street, and without being specific on where they were parked near, we have no way of proving that they were illegal.
So, it's been an interesting learning curve. Sorry.
So we gotta argue this much about a $20 ticket.
Yes, yes.
You betcha.
You will not believe how many people get bent out of
So we
shape.
got a motion by Gary and seconded by
Debbie?
Debbie. Wasn't sure who that was. To approve the schedule as amended. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Just to collect.
News and announcements. Teresa.
For the board and trustees, we did speak to Kevin about doing a presentation on water quality trading. The water quality trading agreements that have been in place for a long time. That won't be, I mean, maybe by July, maybe. He'll have to put something together for our presentation, but kind of walk you through how we got to where we are.
Cool.
And we may have to see what, because finance, we're looking, finance on Monday night next Monday night to change the way we do the budget calendar. So a couple of those committee, the whole meetings, maybe the FMPs from, Alex, so, yeah, we can figure it out.
Yeah.
Community events.
Pops and Bobbers is Saturday. Fishing,
Painting
and then the movie in the park is happening on the 13th, which you guys just approved tonight. So that's a movie hosted in Community Park.
And it looks like music in the park starts tomorrow too.
That's right. I absolutely did not forget about that. The music in the park starts tomorrow night. Farmers Market will start soon, I think.
Do we know what the movie is?
Zootopia 2.
Oh,
Nice.
We had Zootopia a couple of years ago, and I think it was in 2018 when we had the flood, because we had to bump it and bump it and bump it. We ended up having it at the school indoor as an outdoor. I'm excited, I haven't seen that one yet.
I have this awesome.
Future agenda items, we'll have these acceptance certificates coming back around.
All your alcohol licensing will come back in 2 weeks after it goes to public safety.
You guys would probably have final plat for Badger Trails phase 2.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing from planning commission.
Yeah, and I actually just heard from the developer, and he said that he would talk to Rock Road tomorrow and see if we can do something to fix the road.
So, Plan Commission, are they ever gonna come talk to us about the comprehensive plan, or?
I'm sure they'll be back at some point, not June.
Yeah.
Maybe July. I haven't heard from them, but I'll let you know, but not June.
All right,
High school.
I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Second. Kelly, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned at 7:22.